Hey guys, just doing a little print for someone, and so I figured I'd take you along and just show you the process that I do to do a print. So one of my main favorite websites is Thingiverse. There's thousands and thousands of designs. It's pretty cool that you can come to Thing View, and it gives you a 3D preview. Just have to load it up there. So yeah, it you can gives you a nice 3D view and such. Okay, so today I am printing this for someone. So I already have the file. I'll just show you. It's pretty straightforward. You can either come to Thing Files, or you can just go download this thing. Click it once. Alright, so I'm just going to show in folder. We'll see it here. So here's your elephant, and I use simplified 3D. So we're just going to go through the step process to load it in simplified and whatnot, and show you the process basically. So you can just drag it over here. Now this must be done in inches. Cannot auto arrange, the largest part exceeds build. So you just go OK, and you see it's fairly big, so there's no way that's going to print, obviously. See, that's my bed. That's a dimension of the Flash Forward Dreamer. When you set up your printer and stuff, you can pick your printer and whatnot, and it automatically does it for you. So you can just double click and come over, and we get a new pane here. So this is your scale, uniform scaling. So I'm just going to bring it down to 25, I think it was. Hit enter. Here we go. So it's 80 millimeters high and 60 by 65 width and thickness, like so. So you can we come over, just go center and arrange. There's a couple of different you can move it around by holding control and dragging. It's a couple of different shortcut commands or whatnot, but you just hit that and it puts it right in the center for you. I think we're going to need some support. As you can see, the arm is just free, like so. So we're going to need some support, and it looks like possibly in under here. So you can come here. Now you can add supports, and it does it for you. But that's a little bit. I'm just going to delete this. So you can put supports where you see fit or whatnot, like that, and just come in and do that. But that's very time consuming. It's good if you want just a couple little parts, but there's an easier way. So I'm just going to remove existing supports, and I'm going to clear all supports. So anything with a max overhang of 40 degrees, and I want the resolution to be fairly fine. So you go pretty thick, but I'm going to go with 2. And anything over 40 degrees, it's going to. So we'll just go automatic and see how easy that is. Now you can come in, like for instance, say if you didn't want support here on the bottom, like a couple of these, you can just go remove existing and click them, and it just takes them away or whatnot. So you can manually do like it probably doesn't really need support here, right? It's just detecting that it might, but I'm going to leave it as is. I'm just going to actually clear all, and I'm just going to do it again, like so. That's what it's telling me, so we'll go with that. So we'll come over into our process, and this brings up all of our settings. Yeah, you can go. You can, if I could see where it is now, there's an advanced. Yeah, you can just hide advanced. You can go pretty straightforward, but if you want to get in and pick the different shells and infill and speeds and stuff like that or whatnot, you have your left and right extruder. I'm using left because the Flashware Dreamer has a dual extruder, so you can print either or both. We're going to go layer 20mm resolution is pretty normal. I'm going to go 3 all around for the top solid layers and bottom solid and the shells, which is the thickness of the wall. I am going to do 3. I like 3. 2 is a little bit, nah, it's alright I suppose, but I like 3. First layer height, you can go 90% of this. First layer width, it's going to squish it a little bit, so it's going to a little bit thinner, so it's just going to squish it out, give a better surface. So it's going to squish it out 25%. And the first layer is 30% of your speed. And you got a couple. Use random start points for all perimeters. Optimize start points for faster print speeds. That's usually what I do. That's default. Additions. Now your skirt and your brim. It's basically just does an outline around your perimeter just to purge your line and make sure you get a good even flow. You can do 2, so that it'll do 2 around. It's a fairly big print, so I'm just going to do 1. Offset, that's the distance away from the object. And layers. So you could do the first 10 layers that do that. I don't know why you would want to, but if or whatnot. So I'm just going to go 1. Infill, left extruder. We're going to just a couple different patterns. You can go rectangular, grid, triangular, wiggle, fast honeycomb, full honeycomb. We'll just go with the honeycomb just to show you. So that's our 20%. Outline overlap, that's if you have any gaps or anything on your top layers, usually this will fill it in. It's basically the amount that it will push up against the wall of the infill layers. The width 200%, that's default. I haven't really tweaked that. You can go solid diaphragm, so it'll do a solid wall or a solid floor, if you want to call it, as it's building up every 20 layers or whatever you choose. It just adds a little bit more rigidity, I guess. So that's our angles here, so that's fine. That's normal for honeycomb. Support, if you don't have this checked and you go to add the support, it'll give you a warning and it'll turn it on for you. So left extruder, that's our 40% infill. So that's how close the infill lines are together. So 40% is average. Depends on your detail too. If you have high detail, you probably want to up that. So I might go 50 with this. If you have like 10%, it's going to be pretty wide open gaps. So we'll try 50. Inflation distance. I can't really explain it until I actually show you, but that basically blows out the support on the outside of the wall of where it's going to touch or whatnot. Dense infill percentage, that's a little bit high, but I have it set to 0. Support layers, I don't use that, so this is not affected because it's set at 0. Print support every 1 layer. We want that. This just helps for cleanup. Modifies the horizon separation distance between the support structure and part outline. So basically it just gives an extra little bit of gap, and that's why with simplified 3D the support is usually, you can break it off with your hand. I like to still use pliers or whatnot because you can get shards of plastic and shit. So this is automatic placement. That's the resolution stuff. Temperature. So our build, I'm usually go 50. on the glass bed, and our left is 210, so that's good. Cooling, so the first layer, the fan is going to be at not going, and then that helps with sticking to the bed, because if the fan is going, it's going to cool down the PLA quicker. But then once we get to the second layer, it's going to go to 100%. So you can change that. You can have second layer 50% and third layer 75, fourth layer 100, or however you see fit. Or you can go 100% right from the first layer. So adjust printing speed for, I don't really touch it. This is all default. So this is your main one here, 100%. For cooling, G code, this is all default. This is your ball build volume, so it's automatically for your Flash 4 Dreamer or whatever printer you may have. This is script. Now by default, right here, there's a RBG. There's RBG lights in the Flash 4 Dreamer, so you can change these and turn lights on for print. That's by default, but these are set to 0 by default, 255s, so that'll be lights off. So all of them on is whatever RBG, I think that's just white light. So, and so you can, these all scripts, I really haven't messed with none of this obviously. And this is our ending script, so it just tells the machine what it's going to do. And by default this is 0 as well, and the light will come off, but I put it light on all the time, so I changed them. So this is our other tab. We'll go 50 millimeters a second, which is, so that's fairly slow, but you get finer detail. I want a pretty decent detail with this. You can usually, for me, be anywhere between 50 to 80 is what I like to run, without having to change your extruder multiplier and stuff like that, because obviously if it's going faster it needs to push more material. So by default this was 90, but I found upping it to 100 was good. You get nice solid lines. I might even, yeah, 100. I was noticing something I was printing before. I'm gonna go 105, try it. And so it's our speed. Outline, so when it does its those 3 shells, it's going to be 50% of that, so it's only going to be 25 millimeters a second. Solid infill under speed, it's 80. Support structure under speed, it's going to be 80. This is all default. I haven't tweaked none of this. I up this because this is the speed of it moves from point to point. You kind of up that a little bit, makes it faster, and it if you go a little bit slow without, if I can show you here, it's here somewhere, I forget where it is. Retraction speed is basically when it moves from point A to point B, it pulls the filament back in the extruder, so you don't get what they call cobwebs. It's just like long, stringy, little hair-like thin pieces of plastic, and it actually looks like cobwebs. And it's a pain in the ass to have to clean up more than you have to. So if your slicer has the option, I'd highly suggest playing with your retraction speeds and your X and Y movements. And you can also vertical left, so basically the nozzle will pop up, but I left that at default. And retraction distance, if you find that your speed, actually sorry, I explained this earlier about pulling it back, but here it is here, retraction distance. So if you notice that you're getting cobwebs, just set it for it to pull back. I'm gonna go at 1.5. I'm just gonna up it a little bit. I get a little bit every once in a while, but and this is how fast. So I think this is default, and there's coast at the end. So there's a whole bunch of different settings with simplified 3D, and you can wipe nozzle. I just leave those off. That's default. I haven't really bothered to tweak those. So this is our speed, so that's fairly good. I'm going to go up to 115. So this is your filament diameter. You get a caliper, and just, I haven't even touched this. A lot of people suggest it, but get a caliper and measure your filament, because everything is different, and just tweak it to what your caliper says. And this is just a price of a roll of filament, and basically when you do your print, it kind of gives you an estimate of how much material cost and stuff like that. So if you pay like $46 for a roll, just put it in there, or whatever the case may be. Bridging, don't know what it is, haven't touched it. And advanced, pretty sure this is all default. I haven't touched anything here. So that's just a little rundown. I'm just going to update profile, because I made a couple changes. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Alright, we're done our supports. Now we just come over here, and it slices it. And it looks like it's 3 hours and 28 minutes total print time, because I did slow it down, so I'm not in no rush. I'm just going to let it do its thing. It's going to be 65 grams, and the cost to build was about $3, so it's not bad. I'll show you what the honeycomb infill is like. So that's the honeycomb, you can see. And you can come down. Shows its, whoops, I can get on the thing there. It just shows its entire thing, but you can see this gap here. This is that 40% I was saying for your structure. So if you want to tighten it up a bit, I think I might. You can see how it builds up your structure, and now it's starting his arm, right? That's free, because you need, and it'll do that support right from the base. So you come over here and you can actually play, and it runs through the entire process of doing the print, which is pretty neat to watch. See, it's doing its 3 shells, and I had I think it was 3 bottom layers, and it's starting to do its support, and it'll do that for everyone. So make sure you have a good now why is it doing that? Yeah, I just noticed. Okay, yeah, it doesn't matter, because that's infill, or I mean, sorry, that's support, because this is the actual part. This on the back here is just support, I think. Maybe not. No, it's not. This is the full bottom of the elephant. Okay. I got to check something there, because this is a good thing, because that line there, I'm not too keen on that. That should come out around. That's that one, so I might just disable that and see what's going on. But sometimes if your item, or your object I should say, is not sitting flat, it'll do that. So that's kind of giving me a indication something's up. It would probably be fine, but I'm just wondering why, because usually that'll go around the whole perimeter, and for some reason it's not. See right there, it'll go over that, right? And I don't want that. Alright, so I'm gonna get out of that. I'm just wondering why. So that's a good reason why you can play it and see if there's anything you can catch, because that if that had to just mess up, that would continue the whole way. So I do not want that to come back 3 hours later, or even an hour in. That is on our additions, skirt outlines. Maybe I'm just gonna try to say 20 millimeters. I'm bringing it so it's wider around. 1, okay. I'm just gonna test it again. There yeah, there we go. That's better. So to just do the whole outline around. I just had it because 4 millimeters is pretty tight to that, so I guess that is why. Hopefully, it's odd that it did that. I'll show you a little something else with this printer now that I think about it. Some models that you get, you can put it in, I forget the name of the program, NetFab. There's a free cloud server, I also have NetFab on the PC, but it's very easy to just use the cloud version online. Repair, so you can repair everything here. See, it just fixes stuff for you. Repair normals. All normals have been recalculated. Flip triangles. Hopefully it's doing it. There we go. Flip surface orientation. You remove. 0 have been removed. Some depends on who models it and or what program. Sometimes you can have errors, but all looks good. So where was I? So we should be good to print that. I find the time is not accurate. 3.5. It's always longer. So this will probably add this will be closer to 4 hours, which is fine. So I'm going to do this evening here now. And put on our SD card. I'm just going to go Elephant 1. I don't know why there's 1 there. Okay, it's because I already downloaded it yesterday and it's a copy. So in the downloads folder, just put 1 to it because there's 2. So I'm just going to go Elephant. And wait right here, it says toolpaths have successfully exported. So it's on the card. So our next thing to do is go to the printer and start printing.